that man?
You know, I'll be honest, we just finished our second week.
You're good. Go ahead.
I think leadership is done the right way. You have to sort of keep yourself. And we've got 2 newcomers on the transfer portal and 4 freshmen. And that's 6 new guys. And their voice matters. Who moves them, who mentors them, who leads them. And so for the returners to make those decisions without the newbies doesn't feel right. So we got to go through some stuff first and see who leads through our but certainly the game experience of Renata and Niall Harris, it's hard not to know how much they're going to be important to our leadership. But I think we've got that he and Nyla Brooks and Talia, like some of these younger guys, they bring so much to your team that they're leading to. They're just leading themselves and they're leading them on, maybe not with their team experience.
I think the top 3 scorers on last year, is that worry at this point, or do you kind of look around the practice score and go, yeah, we'll be fine?
No, I think I worry more about the rebounding, quite honestly, because it's not a better rebounder in program history than this is, right? And then you throw in the got thing out there too. Those are late clock, if you throw it to them, something's going to happen, right? The rebounding, the 5-year experience of her and Grace Townsend, 4-year starting experience of that gets game pressure, which is why we're playing 3 Final Four teams from last year, the first month of the season. It's like we have to get as much game pressure and not worry about wins. How many wins Courtney Banger has?
Trying to make sure I'm not in your way.
What matters is how much can I quickly get game pressure so that available players become reliable players so that we can do good in the ACC season. So I worry less about scoring with this team than I did last year's team. We're going to have to make sure that we're as tough defensively and we find a way to win.
How about the other transfer, Harris?
Oh yeah. She's got a ton of game experience in our league. She brings great passion and voice to what we're doing. She's Alyssa Usman like her mobility and versatility. It's hard to be Alyssa, but she's got a lot of the same attributes. And she was on that first page of that scouting report every year, and I'm so happy that she's not going to be on the Louisville scouting report, and she'll be on ours.
Speaking of the portal, you guys only had 1 outgoing transfer in this offseason. How proud are you of that retention rate to be able to keep the nucleus of this roster intact?
Yeah, I think sometimes the transfer portal allows you to get excited about your team for like the 3 months that the transfer portal's alive. And I think you got to remember our job is still titled head coach, right? My job is to coach, mentor, teach. And so when a kid looks at me in the eye and says, I want to come, I want to play for you, and I want to go to Carolina, my job is to make sure that right? And so we trust our recruiting, whether it's through the portal or through high school, and we get them better. And their progression, I think, is really fun for our fans to see, and I think you'll see some of the progression of our talent from a year ago this year.
I know you don't put a lot of stock in it starts, but maybe 2 or 3, most people think will start. How do you think that could play out? How big will your reputation be, say in a game against UCLA or somebody like that?
I don't know. I think the freshmen have shown incredible talent. Nyla Brooks and Talia Henderson, Lisa, Tisa, these are really good players that I get to see them in a game pressure environment. It's just really hard to say that. And then, of course, the experience pieces, there's reliability there, right? And so it depends on how we want to play. Do you want to be really big? Do you want to be smaller? Who are we playing? I think our lineup, more than in the past, will be based on our matchups. And maybe not, this is our same 5 every night. But it is not just coach speak, like I've literally practiced for 2 weeks with them. And so there's just with so many new faces that we expect to contribute. It depends a little bit on how they remain consistent, where availability turns into reliability, and also where how we want to play against that opponent. Like you have to play UCLA with size.
Do you feel like you didn't get the same Renata when she got back into the train like this? It didn't seem like she was quite the same.
I think Renata shouldn't necessarily been playing. But you try sitting Renata Kelly, that's not going to happen, right? And so we got a lot considering what she was going through. Renata's just a dog. Like, don't make me go into a big game without Renata Kelly, right? And the fact that she was able to, what she and Alyssa were able to do after so much time off to beat Florida State in the tournament, and then what they were able to do to help us get to a Sweet 16 with, Renata's been shut down since then. Like, we're not messing around with her, right? So, I think it shows their spirit, and a lot's in there.
Talk about developing freshmen, a player who came in your program who didn't go as she expected as a kid, and now she's retired,
yes.
and she's on your staff. Tell us a little about what you've seen from her. the injuries after
Yeah.
injuries, and now having her.
Thank you for asking. Yeah, so Kayla's had 7 knee surgeries. And after each one, she has a resilience, a grit, and a positivity to her that is unmatched. Right? And it's funny, when I went in there and I told her, hey, I'm gonna make you the best version of yourself. Necessarily wasn't always me that made her the best version of herself, but this journey has. And she knows that, and she walks with confidence because she knows that what she's become is so much more than a basketball player, right? So much so that she's on our staff. You come to practice and you didn't know anyone in the gym, you would think she was on, you wouldn't know she was a student. And she dresses like the coaches, she's not very uniform anymore. You know, again, she's another kid I don't want to play a big game without. Luckily I have another year where I don't have to do that.
Obviously, kind of broke out last year, shot a high clip from 3. For you, now that she has a couple years under her belt, you kind of see that next step being her, obviously, being an experienced player and everything like that. What do you kind of see that next step?
Yeah, you know, Renaya, her freshman year, was really talented. We started her, but she was really reserved. Right? And I always say this: the team plays to the personality of its leaders, and I needed her to show more of that. And this past year, not only did she shoot it at like 40, 90, 60, you know, ridiculous, but she also was a great leader for this program. So I need that to continue. Right? I need that to continue. She's got to obviously certain layers of her game have to improve, but you're judged. The better you are, the more you're judging how good your team is. Right? And so how good can she get a team with 6 new pieces, graduated over 60% of their offensive and defensive productivity? How good can you get your team? Right? I'm going to be right here with you, but that's going to be your legacy. And so I know she's excited about that, and she's taking it for a while.
I know you're only